All right, people, the Manchester Derby is upon us. We go to Old Trafford, 12:30 Saturday morning. I'm going to the game. I'm really, really excited for this one, but I'm also quite nervous and concerned, like I said in my review of the Southampton game, that if we go to this game and play the same way we did against Southampton, we can expect a slap up. But Old Trafford has been a good place for us in recent years. We've had some free-flowing training sessions. We've taken the piss. We've sang songs. We've had a good laugh. We've gone there and stamped our authority many times in recent years. But this is not a normal season for Manchester City. This has not been the free-flowing, beautiful, fluent football that we've seen for so many years under Pep Guardiola this season. It has been different. It has been a struggle this season. Inconsistencies, Pep's selections have been poor. It's not been an easy season to watch, has it? Compared to what we're used to in recent years. It's been a struggle, scraping wins, dropping an odd masterclass here and there. Then we're going, right, we're back. This is where we kick on, and then we go and drop a stinker like the Southampton game, the Everton game. This game is so important for so many reasons. Needs to be a good performance, needs to be a win. We need to keep the pressure on Arsenal in this race. If we lose this game or drop points, we are then relying on Bottle Jobs 101 Tottenham Hotspur to do us a favour the next day. And in their current state, I wouldn't be putting much money on them to do us a favour. I really wouldn't. I fancy Arsenal to beat Tottenham on Sunday with the way they're playing. I think we've been talking about tests and this test and that test for Arsenal, but as far as I'm concerned, this next month, 6-week period where they have massive fixture congestion and massive games. They're playing against us twice, playing against Tottenham, they've got United. This is the test. I know it sounds mad. This is the final test. If they can come out of this next month to 6-week period on top of the Premier League, they are in. They are favourites for the title at that point. They're hot favourites as far as I'm concerned. But as far as we're concerned, we just need to keep on their tails, and we have to do it. Unfortunately, against Man United this Saturday, who are in flying form. They really are in flying form. Rashford scoring goals, Casemiro dominating the middle of the pitch. Their defence looks to be playing well. There's a feel-good factor at Old Trafford right now for the first time in a long time. They look like they're on track to possibly win their first trophy in God knows how long. They're in the Carabao semi-finals. They've got a good draw there. They're 2 games away from a trophy. They won't sit back and allow us to take the piss at Old Trafford this Saturday. This is probably the game they're looking at and saying this is our best chance at beating City, fairly as well. Not just, scraping a win, actually beating us in a game of football over 90 minutes in a long, long time. So we have to keep our wits about us. And unfortunately for Pep, no more experimenting, no more trying stupid shit, no more Walker at centre half, no more 2 inverting full backs, no more 2 inverting wingers. You know what I'm saying? Back to basics. Back to basics, mate. Let's go back to what works for us. Let's go back to really what has worked for us for years now and play the style of football, play the system we can trust and we know and we love. 3 at the back, 1 inverting winger, Rodri, Bernardo, De Bruyne, and then in terms of the front 3, I'm going to have to drop Grealish. I know a lot of you who know me well, I love Jack Grealish, but he's not delivering the goods right now, and I can't rely on Jack Grealish to do the business in this magnitude of a game. We really can't. And Mahrez is on fire. So it's going to have to be a Mahrez, Haaland, Foden. I think we need more pace on the wings. We need more players who will take on the full-back in the wide areas. There's not enough width in the team. I spoke about in the review of the Southampton game that or what could possibly be hindering our performances this season. And I think there's a few contributions. Pep experimenting, having a striker when we're used to a false 9. We no longer have the width from, say, a Raheem Sterling and throw it back even further to Leroy Sané. We need people like Foden and Mahrez to take on the fullback, get to the byline, let Haaland face the goal. Haaland's playing with his back to goal too much through no fault of his own because we're inverting. Where everybody wants to play in the middle of the park and there's no width. So he's waiting on ball to his feet so he can turn his man. We need to go back to what works. And I think Kyle Walker has to start over Rico Lewis, and that might be slightly controversial because Lewis has been excellent, but I'm always very cautious of allowing young players who are in the spotlight and doing great to continue. You don't overexhaust them. You don't want to continue him in the spotlight for too long to maybe a point where he has a stinker and all of a sudden you ruin him. He's still only 18 and praise him and award him and pat him on the back, give him his flowers for all his great performances, but don't throw him in the deep end and leave him there. Let him get in, dabble his feet, see how he gets on, swim, pull him out. Throw in trusty Kyle Walker and no more inverting, no more centre half. Throw in back 3 Kyle Walker. And I think Cancelo has to start too. I know Cancelo has been stanky. He's been stanky since the return of the World Cup. Stanky. He's been poor, man. He's been really bad since the return of after the World Cup. But we just have to trust he'll come good. We need him to be our attacking outlet. If we have the correct defense and hopefully Walker, Laporte, and it'll probably be a Kanji or Ake, because the word is that unfortunately John Stones looks like he's probably not fully fit. I'm praying to God that they do a late fitness test and he's okay, but otherwise it's going to be Laporte, Walker, and a Kanji or Ake, and then it has to be Cancelo. Like I said, we need him to just go forward, forget the defending, or at least minimal defending, because he can't do that right now. That's what I want to see. The midfield, I want Bernardo to come back in. Gundo wasn't good enough against Southampton. Nobody was. That's not firing a shot specifically at him. But speaking of Gundo, he dropped some concerning comments after the loss to Southampton. He spoke about there's a possible lack of hunger in the squad in comparison to what's been there in recent years. And I find that really concerning when your club captain is speaking about lack of hunger, even if there's truth to it. Don't say it publicly. Don't say it publicly that there's not the same hunger that there used to be. We don't want to hear that. That's the last thing we want to hear. And of course, Pep made some comments too, which were unlike him. He went in on the team. He actually went in on the team in his post-match reaction following the Southampton game. He said, listen, if we play like that, he's saying what I'm saying. If we play like that against Man United on Saturday, we can expect a loss. Pep doesn't say those kind of things unless he's really, really unhappy. He is not a happy man. I get the vibe that the overall morale in the camp possibly isn't the best right now. But listen, no better way to improve it than a win at Old Trafford. I believe that if we go back to basics and just do what works for us, there's no reason we can't win. It's not going to be as easy as it has been in recent years. I know we were told before the 6-3 that, United look great. Martinez, the butcher at the back, going to chop Haaland, and we steamrolled them. Great. Was that a fluke? I don't think so, but we had an element of luck there. We possibly caught United on an off day. I don't know. I think they're definitely looking a lot stronger even now than they did back then. So we have to keep our wits about us. They're going to go for it. They're going to go for the jugular. They're going to go for the win. Ten Hag wants to make this statement, which is totally understandable. But we have to pick ourselves up, man. We have to really pick ourselves up. We need a 70% improvement on what we saw on Wednesday night. We need to create more. We need more width. No more inverting, or less inverting at the very least. And that's the only way I see us getting a result. I still back the team. I still think we're going to get a result. I think we're going to win the game overall. But is it going to be a steamroll, or are we going to win it with ease, or is it going to be a slogfest? I don't know. It's a very it's probably the most anxiety-filled build-up to a derby I've had in quite some time, and this is just because of Manchester City. I respect Manchester United and what they've built so far this season. It's definitely an improvement. I get that. I admire it, but it's not been good enough from us. From our side is where I get the anxiety from. We have not been the Manchester City that we know and love. It has not been vintage Manchester City. So it needs to be a massive improvement. Listen, I'm going to the game. Like I said, I'll hopefully get some clips in the away end. There's only 2,000 of us. The wankers only gave us 2,000 tickets for the Swamp. What the fuck's that about? I'll hopefully get some clips there that I can put into the review that you guys can hopefully enjoy, give you an idea of what it's like in the away end in Old Trafford. And listen, my score prediction, I forgot to throw that in there. I'm going to go with a 2-1 City. I'm going to go to 2-1 City. Not as confident as I have been in previous derbies, like I said, but I still back the boys. Win this game, kick on into a flow, into rhythm. You know the drill, people. The second half of the season run, it's coming. But listen, no, one game at a time. This one is huge. This one is huge, and we need to get this done. There's no more room for fucking around. We need to get this done. Leave your thoughts down below. Let me know your predicted starting 11. Obviously, mine's up on screen right now. I didn't go through the whole thing, I don't think, but let me know your thoughts on ours and what you would do yourself. Let me know your score predictions and how do you feel about the game. If you're a City fan or United fan or indifferent, let me know how you think this game is going to pan out. Come on, City!
Listen to your heart, tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart, tell me that you